instalment of Austin's Oddities. Right, today we're going to cover Oak Island. Now Oak Island, I'm sure you know these days, more popular because of the TV show. But it's been a mystery for a very long time. So many different theories as to what's going on. Nobody's really got a Danny. Well, I have, but nobody else has. I've done a brief video about it before, but it was very poorly recorded as I'm not very technically minded. And hopefully we're going to do a better job this time. Right, so basically, I mean, if you don't know about the mystery, I'm just going to go over it quickly. Some years ago, about the 18th century or something, some children found a bit of a dip in Nova Scotia, Oak Island, and they dug down, and there was some logs in a sort of square across them, and then they lifted them up and they dug down a bit more, and there was some more, and likewise they kept going down and down and down, and then some more people got word of it, and they wanted decent excavation, and they dug and dug and dug until they got down at one point and went boom, suddenly started flooding up water, filling right up it did. And they thought they'd triggered some sort of booby trap. They thought underneath there's all this treasure or something going on. And I don't think they obviously missed the point on this one, which I'm just going to stop beating around the bush and show you. If I could figure out how to turn this camera the other way around. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to turn the phone. Right, so if you have a look here. Now you see, this is what's going on. So this shaft has been dug down into the embankment. Now off that shaft is a flume, and out of that flume is 3 other flumes coming off that single one there. Now it goes into the seabed, into the beach. It's dug right down in there. Now packed into the beach over the top of these pipes are actually coconut husk, packed all over those funnels. Now coconuts aren't around for thousands of miles. They say the way the sea works, you just wouldn't find them drifting or in that state around the area. It just wouldn't happen. They're not tropical waters, they're up North Canada way. So now Nova Scotia got the greatest tide differential on the whole planet. Now it's really quite interesting that this project was actually chosen to be built at this time. Now it was built around the 16th century, or so they say. Now people think there's a booby trap, there's treasure down there and all this malarkey. Now people have been throwing money down that. Even presidents and well-known businessmen have thrown their money away left, right and centre, trying to find the treasure at the bottom of this pit. But no matter how much they excavate, they just can't get down to the bottom of it. It just keeps filling up with water, which is a bit of a problem. But they're not realising that the true value is not hidden underneath this thing. It was in the concept. Now if you are planning to build a fortification where you would want to be able to take an attack, say you're under siege, you want to be able to take attack for a long period of time, which means you need a water source, an unpollutable water source. Otherwise, after 3 days, if you ain't got the water, you're done and dusted, ain't you? Because you're going to die of thirst. So that every fortification had to have a natural water source. Otherwise, the people just wouldn't live throughout a siege. Now, what this basically is, it's a clever idea of using sea pressure to convert salt water into drinking water. Now the way they've done it is, first of all, they dug down this flume, and when they got down to this depth, they then started digging up until too much water come through. So they'd pack all the insides of this and they make it into a tube with cut stone, yeah, and then they got as far as they could, and then they had to refill it back in again to equalise the pressure. Because if they didn't, and they left all that shaft open, that water come rushing through, it'd mess that right up. So they had to equalise the pressure, which means they had to fill it back in again. So when you fill it back in again, it makes sense to any logs that you've got that were holding out the edges and keeping it from collapsing, just to keep those in there rather than pull them in and out and whatnot. And then when you go back in again, you could just use them to reinforce your walls as you go down. Bingo, presto. It sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? The thing is, didn't bloody work, did it? Didn't think that one through properly. So what they've done here is, when the tide's gone out, they've completed the rest of this flume part, the 3 flumes, and they've packed the flumes out with coconut husk and sand. And as we all know from school, sand is a great filter system, as coconut husk is, you'd imagine, when you're packed with coconut husk. The natural thought would be, oh, it would work. So basically they were trying to convert salt water into drinking water. Now if this did work, it'd be worth more than any treasure, because it would mean that they could have put a fortification on any seaside location that they wish, and they wouldn't be tied to the fact that it needs to be have like a freshwater river near it or something like that, somewhere, an underwater aquifer, somewhere that's accessible. Now what's happened over the years is that more and more people have bought it and they've got lumbered with it. Now if they didn't find anything, you're going to go selling on a spot that you've chucked all your money in and found nothing. Nobody's going to want to buy it, are they? So each time they go and sell it on, before they do, they seem to find a Templar coin or something like that kicking around, and go, oh yeah, you know, look, oh, we're so close, look, we're so close, we got this. Did they bollocks? Come on, let's get real here. It's flagged down a cab and head for Real Street. They needed to do that in order to put value onto that so they could sell it on, because nobody's going to want to invest in a load of money into something which there was nothing there. So they're just little ticklers to get people going. So that's what you got here. You got these 3 flumes, you got the beach packed with coconut and sand, you got the greatest tide differential on the planet, which how they knew that back in the 1600s, that's a question as well. That's a question in itself. So they obviously picked the right location for that project on the entire planet, and in a place that was undiscovered apparently at that time. So that was pretty impressive. But yeah, that's your Oak Island mystery, really. I'm sorry to piss on anybody's parade, but that's it. It's just a way of converting salt water into drinkable water. So when they've done that, they've come back up all pleased with themselves. Right, let's start digging down here and checking out what's going on with that water. So they've dug down a bit, and it turns out the water is not purified at all. It's still salty, so there's no point in digging all the way back down here again. So all I do is chuck a bit of mud in it, leave it. What else can you do? So there you go. The Oak Island mystery is not so much a mystery at all. It's a bit of a marvel of its generation, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, it's not worth investing all that bloody money in, that's for sure. Maybe for real estate or something. Not even that. Where are you going to get your water from? It's miles from a water source. And that's another good thing as well, reason why. Because if you look around all the area, there's 2 islands. You've got to go off that island onto another island, and then off that island onto mainland, to be able to then dig down where the earth would have purified the water enough to be able to drink from it. So imagine doing that walk every day, a few miles, like, of all that water. Nah, mate, I mean, that's what's going on there. Sorry to pick somebody's parade or whatever, do you know what I mean? But you best find yourself another Templar coin quick, and then sell it on to the next mug. Good luck to you. Right, that's me done dusted. If you got something to do, go and do it. I'll see you another time.